Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well as we're starting to come out of our houses now. And I hope you're enjoying this second winter that we're having, which kind of drives us back into our house. Um, Usually, when I think about the cooler weather, you think about knitting, cross stitching, things that you do in your house other than outside gardening, which I've been trying to do in between all of the cooler weather and running the plants back in the house because it's too cold. But we just wanted to give you an idea of how we decide what samples to do in the cross stitch area. When we get a new pattern in, it's kind of one of those, oh yeah, that's a great pattern. I'm sure everybody's going to love it, but it's not something that I want to do. And then there's those, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the pattern that I have to make a sample out of. And right now I'm working on Dashing Through the Snow by Stoney Creek. And this one has kind of come about as a challenge. That when it first came in, I really liked it. It's a silhouette, which means that it's just one single color of thread through the entire pattern. And, I'd walk by it and I'd look at it, I'd go visit, I'd pick it up and look at it. And one of the gals said, I don't think you're ever going to do that. Well, that's all they had to say to me because then I went over and picked out the fabric and picked out the floss. And so far, this is the progress that I have made. And it's a little different doing a silhouette in that you don't change your colors at all. And you just watch the design unfold. You see the picture of it on the pattern, but then when you go to put it onto your fabric, you just watch it come alive on your fabric and it becomes just this cool thing that you're creating. Um, the thing I love about cross stitching is I can do it just about anywhere in the car, when we go camping, when we go it just about anywhere. Even if I'm outside sitting on my patio, I'll have cross stitch in my hands. And um, it was kind of funny because several years ago, before I even knew cross stitch existed, a friend of mine said, hey, let's go to this shop. It's in Broad Ripple. And I said, well, what kind of a shop is it? And she said, it's a cross stitch shop. I said, okay. And it was called the Chicken Coop. So it gave no clue as to what this shop was about. So we went in there and I'm looking around, seeing everything, and I went, yeah, this is something I will never do. Well, lo and behold, not too long after that, cross stitch grabbed my heart, and I have done all kinds of different patterns, from modern patterns to the primitives to everyday patterns, and I love them all. There's some that are like, yeah, okay, there's somebody who will like that. So that's kind of the purpose of why we do a sample, is because when you just look at the front of a pattern, it's like, okay, because that's somebody else's work that you're looking at. When you get it in your hands or you can touch it, you can feel it, then it becomes a part of you and it's something you want to do and you want to enjoy. So we want to bring those patterns alive to you. How do we decide which ones to do? Well, sometimes they just get assigned to you. Like I did the other day, I had several patterns and I said, here, would you like to do this one? And I got all yeses, so you'll be seeing some new samples coming in. And other ones come as a result of a challenge. And other ones you just fall in love with it and say, we want our customers to see this. We want them to get the same amount of enjoyment that we had when we were stitching this up. And a lot of times family events, life events, will become associated with a cross stitch pattern that you have done. I remember one sampler that I did. It was a pretty good size sampler, and I remember the day I gave birth to my daughter. Probably an hour or two after that, I was sitting in my hospital bed starting that sampler, and I worked on that the whole time that I was in the hospital with her. So when I look at that sampler hanging on my wall, I think about the day that she was born. So, a lot of times you'll find grandma's embroidery or cross stitch or some kind of needlework that has come from a relative that has, stitched that, spent the hours stitching it. And you may not like the pattern so much, but it's the memories behind it. I'm known around here as the Christmas girl because I love Christmas. So if there's a Christmas sampler, chances are I probably battled out somebody to do it. This is Dashing Through the Snow. I love snow, so that was a draw to me. We like to do samples of what our new patterns come in, what we think our customers are looking for, what we think they'll enjoy, what's a pattern that's kind of hard to visualize just by the picture. It's easier to see in person what that sample looks like. So stop on in. We are open now. Take a look at our samples. If there's any questions you have, please be sure to ask because we want you to enjoy cross stitch as much as we do. So have a great day. Thanks.